Hi and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Carly. I am a mom to an almost 20-month-old son named Leo, and I am 31 weeks pregnant today with baby number 2, who is also a boy. In today's video, I wanted to talk about things that we are registering for baby number 2 and things that we plan to reuse. Now, we are having another boy, so we may have more on our reuse list than other families who are maybe having the opposite gender would have, but we didn't find out if our son Leo was a boy or a girl before he was born, so I also think a lot of the baby stuff we have is pretty neutral. So our reuse list is pretty long. So let's start with the things that we have either registered for or are buying new or plan to buy new. The reason that we decided to do baby registries for this baby is not necessarily because we are going to have a big baby shower. We will not really be having a shower for this guy, but because of completion discounts. If you are not already aware and you're pregnant, you should register at a couple of different retailers, even if there's one that's like more of your main one. And this is because so many retailers will offer you a completion discount. And this is a certain amount of time before and after your due date. You'll get like 10 to 15% off of everything that you've registered for. So that gets you a discount on the stuff that you were planning on buying anyway. So we have registered at Amazon, Target, and Babylist because they all have completion discounts, and I think different of those retailers have different available options and prices for these items. But here's a list of things that we are planning to buy new or have currently on our registry for baby number 2. The first is our stroller second seat kit. So we have the Mockingbird single to double stroller. I'm so glad that we had the foresight when we were pregnant with our son, our first son, to buy a stroller that converted from a single to a double because we knew we wanted to have our children close together. So we bought the Mockingbird and we've loved it as a single, and we're looking forward to using it as a double. The only thing is we had to buy a second seat kit in order to convert the stroller from single to double. Thankfully, my husband Alex's mom purchased that for us, and we're really looking forward to seeing what the stroller looks like converted to a double. I can't wait to see what it'll be like to push 2 little guys and not stroller. The next thing on our registry is some limited clothing items. So a few months ago, I went through all of the baby clothes that we had for Leo and kind of tried to inventory things, see where we had gaps, maybe where things needed to be replaced, and then I made a list that was like a running list of things that we needed for this guy. And it has been a really fun project for me over the last few months to go to the thrift stores, look at the clearance section at Target, and just kind of like fill in those gaps over time. So it's been fun to be able to fill in those gaps and pick out some clothes for him. The next thing on our registry is a sound machine. I actually just found a really good deal on this one on Amazon. We swear by sound machines. I think most parents probably do swear by sound machines, but we love this one in particular because it has a night light on it. It's perfect for night feeds. The sound continues all night long until you turn it off, and it really does drown out all of the noise, so Leo is able to sleep soundly for naps and nights. It's not really a fancy sound machine. I know a lot of parents love the Hatch Baby and things like that, but we didn't really want all the bells and whistles. We wanted something with white noise, and we wanted something with a nightlight, and so we are thrilled with this one. The reason we wanted to buy a second one is because the boys will be sleeping in separate rooms, at least for a little bit. We're hopeful that as our second boy gets older, he'll be able to move in with older brother, but for right now they are going to be in separate rooms, so we needed a second sound machine. The next thing on our reuse list is the Love to Dream swaddle in size small. So we discovered the Love to Dream swaddle a little bit late in our swaddling journey with Leo. We actually had bought the transition suit, which is supposed to help them get out of the swaddle, and we really loved it, and Leo loved sleeping with it. But that one is a size medium, which I believe starts at like 12 or 13 pounds. So we are planning on buying the size down of the Love to Dream swaddle. That way we can make sure that he can be in it from birth because we loved it. It was the best swaddle product that we used, and so we're looking forward to being able to start with that instead of finding it halfway through. The next thing on our baby registry is a couple of different baby carriers. I'm kind of a carrier fanatic, and I actually have all the carriers that I need, but there are a few carriers that I'd like to try this time around that we don't currently have. That includes the Solly wrap. So with Leo, we had a boba wrap, which I really liked the wrap, but out of the major wrap brands, boba's is the thickest, which I didn't know. And we had an August baby, so we were kind of sweaty when we would use the boba. I'm sure it'll still be great for this baby, but I wanted to try the Solly because the Solly is supposed to have the lightest material, and this guy is going to be born at the end of June, so he's more of a summer baby than his brother was, and we'd like to have something a little bit more lightweight. My husband also really liked using the wrap, and so I think that the Solly would be a great option for carrying for him. The next type of carrier I wanted to try was like the soft structured type carrier from either Sakura Bloom, their Scout carrier, or from Happy Baby, their original carrier. Those are both really pricey and really not necessary for us. We have the Ergo Baby and I like it, but I think it's a little bit bulky, especially in those younger days, and I used it a lot more when I was able to back carry Leo in it than I ever did when he was small. And I think that the Scout or the Happy Baby original would be a really good, more structured way to carry our little guy, especially as he gets out of the wrap and into more needing that structure. And they are both beautiful. They're both made out of linen or other natural materials, and I think that they would be a really great addition to my carrier wardrobe. However, they are not necessary. So if they don't come, they don't come. It's not the end of the world, but I wanted to register for them anyway. And the last type of carrier I have on my registry is more ring slings, which if you know anything about me, you know how much I love ring slings. Once I got the hang of using ring slings with Leo, they have been my go-to from like 6 weeks all the way up through very recently. Like I've been slinging Leo for a lot of this pregnancy. And my favorite ring sling brand, Wildbird, just released their summer collection and they have some really beautiful prints. So I felt like I should at least throw them on the registry. Again, if it doesn't happen, I have 3 slings. I don't need more, but I figured I would just put it on there just in case. The next thing on our list of things to buy new is a Haka silicone breast pump. So I still have my Haka from when Leo was a baby, but I think it's a little bit worse for the wear. They're really inexpensive and I think I just feel more comfortable replacing it entirely. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a new one of these. They are amazing. Essentially, if you aren't familiar with it, you put it on the breast that you are not feeding your baby from and it collects your letdown. I was actually able to build like a decent sized freezer stash of breast milk just from using the Haka. So I'm a big fan of the Haka and I'm looking forward to getting another one. I'm hopeful that our breastfeeding journey goes as well as my breastfeeding journey did with Leo, and I'm going to be able to use that. Speaking of breastfeeding, another thing I have on this list is a pump. So we have gotten on new insurance since Leo was born, and so I qualify for a pump through my insurance because I haven't had a baby on this insurance yet. And the pump that was recommended to me by a lactation consultant who is associated with our insurance is the Spectra S9, and this is like more of a hands-free style pump. I don't expect to be pumping a lot. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I will still be at home, and I expect that my second son will be able to get most of his feeds directly from the breast like my son Leo did. One change I would like to make is to be able to go places a little bit more, have the freedom to be away from him for a little bit longer than I ever felt like I had with Leo. I really felt that 3-hour timer when Leo was a baby where I had to be home every 3 hours to feed him, and that was really hard. I didn't get away from Leo for an overnight until he was 15 months old, and I'd really like to change that with this guy. And so the Spectra S9 is supposed to be a really great, more hands-free option where I can pump and chase Leo and hold my baby all at the same time and be able to have some milk pumped for when other people need to give him bottles if I'm away from him when it's time for a feed. I already had a Medela pump that I got from my sister-in-law, and then I just replaced the parts for it, and it's good, but it's one of those like plug into the wall ones, so you just really are kind of glued to the pump and you're glued to the couch while you're pumping. So this felt like a better option for my lifestyle, so I'm looking forward to trying that pump out. And the last thing on my buy new list for this baby is pacifiers and a pacifier clip. Leo was a pacifier guy until he was maybe about 7 months old, and then he weaned himself from the passy, which go Leo. But we like the Philips Avid Soothie pacifier. This is like the most basic type of pacifier, but it's also supposed to be the best for breastfed babies, so we really liked that about it. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't have cute little designs on it, but we found it really functional. Leo loved it, and they're really inexpensive, and you can find them at any Walgreens, any Target, any like retailer, so if we happen to need some while we're on the go, it shouldn't be hard to find them. That's one of the things that makes me want to go back to the Soothie this time around. So we'll need a couple new pacifiers, since obviously we're not going to reuse Leo's old pacifiers from his baby days, and then a pacifier clip, which was essential for us. We would just clip the passy to his onesie and then it would never go anywhere, and it wouldn't hit the floor either. So we need to replace passies and get a passy clip. And now for the things that we plan to be reusing from our first son to our second. The first item is our bassinet. We had the Arms Reach co-sleeper, and I really loved this. It was so nice to have him close to us, but also in his own space. I wasn't interested in like bed sharing with my baby, but I really did love having him so close. So when he needed me in the middle of the night, he was literally right next to me. We're looking forward to using this again for our second guy. The next, I already touched on our stroller. We will be reusing the stroller from Mockingbird. We'll just be adding that second seat kit to it to make it a functional double for both of our guys. We'll be reusing our car seat, which we had the Graco Snug Fit Snug Lock 35. I feel like for me, car seats were one of those things that were really overwhelming to think about the type and the brand and all of that. And we just decided to go with Graco. We really liked the car seat with Leo, so we'll be using it again for his brother. The next thing I'll be reusing is my diaper bag. I have the Brooklyn bag from Milkmaid Goods, and I think this bag is great. I picked this bag primarily because I thought it was really beautiful and really like fit into my everyday personal style. However, I don't think that a bag like this is essential. It was a little bit on the expensive side, but I love it. It's definitely got enough room for 2 boys things, 2 boys diapers, 2 boys everything. So we'll definitely be able to reuse that for our second guy. Next is clothes. I mentioned that we had a few holes in his wardrobe that I've been filling with thrifting and sales, but for the most part, everything that Leo wore, our second son will be able to wear. Everything's in decent shape, and everything is obviously good for a boy. This is one area where some families may be reusing less than we are, but we will be reusing almost everything because almost everything Leo wore is still good and still ready to be used for another baby. The next thing that we will be reusing is basically our entire nursery. So instead of doing a whole big nursery decoration, we're actually going to be moving Leo out of the nursery and into the empty bedroom in our house, and that will be kind of his big boy room, and then eventually it will become the room for both boys to share. So we're focusing on redoing Leo's room instead of redoing baby's room. So everything that's currently in Leo's room, his crib, his nursing chair, the changing table, the crib sheets, all of the decor, everything is going to stay put. The crib is going to be a little bit of a back and forth. Right now we plan to move Leo into the crib into his new room, and then sometime before brother outgrows the bassinet, we're hoping that we can get Leo transitioned to a toddler bed so we won't have to buy a second crib. But everything else is really gonna stay put in that room. As far as the exact things that we have that we'll be reusing, we have the Sniggler crib from IKEA, and we managed to buy this thing before all the supply chain craziness and everything that has really affected IKEA stuff, and I'm so grateful. We love the Sniggler crib. It really meets our needs. It's basic, but it's beautiful, and Leo has slept great in it. We bought a glider from Amazon that we've really liked. It's like definitely more economical of an option, but it's really done the job for us, and we'll be keeping that in the nursery for using for breastfeeding, and then we'll have a different chair or a different seating arrangement in Leo's room for reading books and stuff together that we currently use the chair in his room for. The decor, the changing table, all of the rest of that stuff will all stay the same. The next thing that we will be reusing is our receiving blankets, swaddles, burp cloths, all of those kinds of products. I actually haven't gone through any of that stuff yet, and I think we might have too much, so I think I might have to go through and pare down on some of those receiving blankets, burp cloths, things like that, but everything that we use with Leo for the most part is fine, so we're going to reuse it again. Leo was a spitter upper for sure, and so we have tons of burp cloths, so even if some of them are in like dicey shape, I think we'll still have plenty to reuse and not need to buy anything new for our second baby. I mentioned baby carriers, and we have plenty of baby carriers that we will be using this time. I talked about how we have the boba wrap. I'm sure that we will use the boba again. I have ring slings from Wildbird, which I know I will be using again, and then I did mention the Ergo Baby as well. We have the infant insert for the Ergo Baby carrier. I'm not the biggest fan of that carrier for the little tiny newborn age. I prefer a sling or wrap, but my husband might use it, and we might even continue to use it to back carry Leo. So it will be around, and it is going to meet our needs for sure. Next is all of our baby bathing things. We have baby washcloths, towels, shampoo, lotion, and even a little baby like tub insert. The apartment that we lived in when Leo was born had a bathtub, but this apartment we live in now does not have a tub. So we actually bathe Leo in like a storage tub in the shower. It's the only way we can get enough standing water to get a bath, but we used to bathe him in the sink. So we'll probably do sink baths for this little guy. So all of that bathing stuff is able to be reused and right there ready for us. Next are what I kind of call our like containers, our baby containers. It's the Baby Bjorn bouncer. We were blessed enough to get it for free from a mom from church who had one that she did not need because all of her kids were too grown for it. So she gave it to us, which was such a blessing because it's like a $200+ bouncer, but it's fantastic. I was really into it when Leo was a baby. I'm sure it will be my go-to kind of baby put down spot for when this guy is born. So we'll be reusing that. We will also be reusing our Skip Hop Activity Center when this baby gets a little bit older and he's old enough to kind of be in that, which I think is like 5 or 6 months. So we'll be reusing that. We loved it with Leo. I'm sure we'll love it again with him. But those are kind of the only two like containers that I have. I'm not really interested in a swing or a different type of bouncer or like a DockATot or anything like that. I really felt like the bouncer met our needs, and so hopefully that will be the case with this little boy. We also have a play mat mat and play gym from Fisher-Price, which was a hand-me-down from a cousin of mine. And it's not like the coolest play mat on the market, but Leo loved it, and I'm sure it will meet our needs for this little boy. And the last thing that we will be reusing from our first baby to our second is our reusable wipes. We actually had this pack of 30 like flannel, like square wipes that we used for diaper changes rather than traditional wipes. We really liked those for the pre-solid stage because breastfed baby poops are super easy to clean, which made those wipes really easy to clean. And you would just spray them with a little water and wipe them. It felt like they got his butt cleaner than a traditional wipe would. And so we used those for about 6 months. I'm sure we'll be using those again for about the same length of time with our second baby. So there you have it. That is our list of what we have registered for and what we will be reusing for baby number 2. I would love to hear any of your thoughts, questions, comments. Leave them down in the comments about baby gear, what you reused. If there's anything you feel like I'm missing, I would love to know about it. I'm trying to get as prepared as I can for this guy before he gets here. We all know how those like late night Amazon orders go, so I'm sure I'll be having some of those. I'd love to get ahead of any of that. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm not sure if I'm going to be posting regularly, but I am going to be posting some pregnancy content. So follow along with that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.